He didn't punch me. He didn't shove me into a wall. He smiled, leaned back in his chair, looked around the restaurant like he owned the air, and said, "Relax, you're lucky to even be here." That was the moment I realized this wasn't just disrespect. This was a pattern, and I was supposed to stay small inside it. I used to think moments like that were normal. You know what I mean? You laugh it off, tell yourself you're being sensitive, convince yourself that if you just work harder, speak softer, stay grateful, eventually people will stop looking down on you. Yeah, that didn't happen. What did happen was slower, quieter, and a lot more dangerous. Because when someone keeps reminding you that you're replaceable, that you don't belong, that you should be thankful for scraps, part of you starts believing it. My name's changed here, so let's say I'm Alex. And for a long time, I was the easiest person in the room to underestimate. It started small, jokes that weren't really jokes. "You sure you can handle this? Don't take it personally. I'm just being honest." The kind of comments that leave no bruise but linger in your head on the drive home. My manager, let's call him Grant, was a master at it. Always calm, always smiling, always making sure everyone else heard him before I did. If I pushed back, I was emotional. If I stayed quiet, I was agreeable. Either way, I lost. The thing is, I wasn't bad at my job. I was good. Too good. And Grant knew it. That's why the disrespect was never loud. It was strategic. He'd give me impossible deadlines, then act surprised when I pulled them off. He'd take credit in meetings, then pat my shoulder afterward like we were a team. He'd say things like, "People like you don't usually get opportunities like this. People like you." He never explained what that meant. He didn't have to. I told myself it was temporary. I told myself I needed the experience, the paycheck, the stability. I told myself a lot of things. What I didn't tell myself was the truth. I was shrinking, and the smaller I got, the bolder he became. The breaking point came on a Tuesday. Always a Tuesday, right? We were in a conference room, glass walls, everyone watching. Grant pulled up a presentation I'd built from scratch. My work, my hours, my weekends. He started walking through it, talking fast, confident like it was his own reflection on the screen. Then he paused, looked right at me and said, "See, this is why details matter. Some people don't naturally think this way." The room went quiet. A couple people shifted in their chairs. No one said anything. And something inside me finally snapped, not loudly, not dramatically, just a clean break. I smiled. I actually smiled. And I said, "You're right. Details do matter." That's why I documented every revision request you sent me with timestamps. You could feel the air change. Grant laughed, but it was thin. "Easy there," he said. "No need to get defensive." Defensive, that word. I nodded and said, "I'm not defensive. I'm prepared." That was the first time he looked at me like I wasn't furniture. From that day on, I stopped reacting. I didn't argue, I didn't explain. I started writing things down. Dates, emails, comments made as jokes. Work reassigned without notice. Credit redirected. Patterns. Lots of patterns. Turns out, when you stop trying to be liked, you start seeing clearly. Grant didn't like that. He started pushing harder. He'd call me into his office and lean back, arms crossed, saying things like, "You know, I could make this very difficult for you." I'd nod and say I understand. Then I'd send a follow-up email summarizing the conversation. Polite, neutral, unemotional. It drove him crazy. He tried to corner me once after hours. Empty hallway fluorescent lights humming. He blocked the doorway, smiled that same smile and said, "You're not as smart as you think." I looked him straight in the eye and said, "Maybe, but I'm observant." He stepped aside. The real twist came when I realized I wasn't the only one. People started stopping by my desk casually, quietly. "Hey, has he ever said this to you? Did you notice your name missing from that report? Is it just me, or does he do that on purpose?" I didn't answer directly. I just listened, and I took notes. When the company announced a leadership review, Grant suddenly changed. Compliments. Invitations. "We should grab coffee." Yeah, that happened. I declined politely. He wasn't scared of me. He was scared of exposure. The review meeting was supposed to be routine. HR. Upper management. Grant walked in confident, relaxed, shaking hands. I walked in with a folder. Nothing flashy. Just facts. When they asked if anyone had concerns, the room went quiet. That familiar silence. The one that used to crush me. This time, I broke it. I spoke calmly. No accusations, no emotions. Just timelines. Emails. Witnesses. I could feel my heart pounding. But my voice didn't shake. Grant tried to interrupt, laughed, said I was misinterpreting his leadership style. One of the directors asked him to stop talking. That was the moment. The shift. You could see it on his face, control slipping. When they asked others to speak, hands went up. Slowly. Then more confidently. Stories overlapped. Not dramatic. Consistent. Undeniable. Grant didn't get fired that day. Real life isn't that neat. But he lost something far more important. Credibility. Authority. The room stopped orbiting him. Afterward, he cornered me one last time. "You think you've won," he hissed. I looked at him and said, "No, I think this is over," and I walked away. I transferred departments a month later. Better team, better pay, same company. Grant stayed technically, but without the power he used to enjoy. People stopped laughing at his jokes. Meetings got quieter when he spoke. He became careful. That was his punishment. Being seen. Here's what I learned. The people who underestimate you are counting on your silence. They build their power on your doubt. And the moment you stop feeding it, everything changes. You don't need to scream. You don't need revenge. You need clarity, patience, and receipts. So let me ask you something. Was I right to speak up, or should I have just kept my head down and moved on? Have you ever been in a situation where staying quiet felt safer, even though it cost you something inside? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them. And if you've ever been underestimated, dismissed, or made to feel small, know this. Silence can be survival. But when chosen silence can also be power. And knowing the difference might change your life.